My name is Josh Richter, and this is Still Shot. All right, we are on our way to Piketon, Ohio area. It's about a half hour, 45 minutes outside of Chillicothe, where we're from. And we're doing an interview with Michael Brumfield. He is an artist. He does like wood carvings with chainsaws. It's so awesome. So he does art. He's an author. He's a musician, and he's also a big part of the early crowd of people that were coming together to try to get the government to release information about UAPs and alien abductions and stuff. I know I know it's a whole lot, but that hits a home with us. We're super into aliens and paranormal and all that stuff. And I've been wanting to do this interview for a long time. I just didn't know how to go about doing it. So I kind of just sucked it up and I sent him an email. I wanted to make sure he didn't think that it was some sort of exploitive thing or that we were debunkers or something that's coming in to try to make him look dumb. That's not it. That's not it at all. The dude's super nice, like the nicest dude. I've talked to him on the phone a couple times. He's a very charming, cool, funny dude, and he's excited. He's excited for it, and that's what makes me so happy about it, is he's excited about it too. So we're gonna go there. He's gonna show us his art. He's gonna show us some of his like books he's written and some other stuff, and he's gonna talk. We're just gonna do an interview and kind of get into the weeds there for a second about some stuff that people are kind of scared to talk about. And I'm excited. His name's Michael Brumfield. He's awesome. At the end of the episode, we'll link all of his books that you can buy, his website, his TikTok, YouTube channel. Everything will be in the bio. So I'm looking right now, about 3 miles away, I think. So we're just going to keep going here. See, there's a massive pyramid right here in the yard. You see it? You see a giant pyramid? Do you see it? Look at it. The giant pyramid. This is his place right here. So that's it. We just passed it. All right. So I'm gonna turn around, which is fine because you'll be able to get a better look from your side of the pyramid. This is gonna be sick. This is it. This is wild. We're here.
I have good parents, and I'm very fortunate. But I have this disease. I don't know. I'm going to look it up and make sure that I tell people all over the world tomorrow on a video. It's a disease where you feel and see and can't avoid the empathy that you have for all the suffering of life.
Yeah.
From the animals getting killed up and down the road to the slaughterhouses, when we don't have to do that anymore, we can grow a meat. It's just at an early stage. But it's something like Asperger's. I don't know what it is, but it's a terrible freaking disease, I can tell you, brother, because a lot of people will ask me, they'll say, brother, you ever find happiness? And I say, I'm happy now. Yeah, I'm happy now. Right. Just because I spew these words doesn't mean I'm not happy. God damn, I'm grateful.
Right.
I'm not a chicken going to the slaughterhouse, pal. Imagine a Dr. Dolittle scenario where all the animals start talking and saying, we're going to be humans again one day. We just got to, suffer the little time here. We only live 3 years. How old you live, Mike Brumfield? And when I say 64, I feel pretty goddamn great.
Yeah, right? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Let me get that mic from you. That way it's not in the photos. And then we'll continue as soon as I get these
And you know what? Listen, the ultimate climax here is for you guys to roll out of there, me with a book that's going to address my arrest. The title of it, Drones Everywhere. They started the day that I was arrested. Does that make me special? If I am sent here just for that to be verification or more evidence to solidify my case, no, it doesn't make me special. It just makes me what I am. I've given my goddamn life for this.
Right.
And that's what you got to do.
Yeah. And it's an important thing.
Can I be sent here to stop war? Nobody's going to stop war.
Right.
because this wouldn't exist.
Right.
And that's the reality.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
What we're going to do is expose it. We're going to keep getting smarter to where, guess what? Nobody can outrun their mouth or their thought or their actions. And that's the moment that I'll dearly cherish. I love it. And I had given them ample evidence, including the government's top case that I sat there and painfully watched for an hour and a half with his ignorance of space and war. The number one threat in war is goddamn surveillance.
Yeah.
You can go back to the cowboy and Indian days. They ambushed their fucking asses because they could kill everything between them and the Indian pack, then camp around them,
right,
and surprise them.
Hey, I fully agree that. I agree with that. I was talking to you on the phone about that. The whole concept that they're not a threat, but if they're going faster and than we are, that's a threat.
That's a threat.
That's a fucking threat.
Surveillance. I make surveillance number one now.
Yeah,
that way it sheds light on the gold halo angel story. They're all knowing. Omniscience is the key word.
Yeah.
That means technological fucking transparency. That word shows up on our phone every fucking day.
Every day. Every fucking day.
Telling us that it's within sight of 2 years now because of Elon Musk and his Grok 4 and the brain chipping magic that he did. You know? I mean, we have goddamn ancient skulls all over the earth with holes in them that are elongated like a fucking alien.
That's the thing that freaks me out the most, I think. It freaks me out, man. Like, it's cool, but it still freaks me out.
It is, because we have to accept the reality. Are we ourselves ready, to look just like other humans and not desire that power that you have over being a little more attractive or a little less attractive?
Right.
My uncle, my brother, and my wife. My wife was taken aboard a spacecraft and shown this Earth destroyed and started immediately crying and begging the person telling her. And the person wasn't a full little gray alien. The other three were that took her out of her bed. And, she's never pursued the knowledge of life. How does it work in a universe full of flying rocks? And the number one prerequisite would be to get the hell off the rock. You're made of the rock. You aren't the rock. You've got the intelligence to make the tools, to give you the keys to artificial immortality. And it is creation, but science, not blinking, thinking magic.
So is she into it too?
She was abducted about 30 years ago.
Yeah, you can pick it up.
Was taken aboard a spacecraft and
make sure the autofocus and everything. I want to make sure all this stuff.
I wouldn't have believed her, but it's the same goddamn story that I'm saying, that universally is every religion. Even my mom and dad's religion, they always told us kids, one day there's going to be a battle of Armageddon.
Yeah.
Well, that's the Great War, and I've always used that in my writings that these people know, they don't know the next second.
Right.
There's no future telling like your thoughts. And so the reality is that it's just a repeating cycle, progress of medical science and technology that's always existed. And mankind is kept on a planet to learn.
Yeah.
Learn first and fundamentally, better be damn lucky to chain a damned cockroach.
Right? Yeah.
My wife in Mexico kills the shit out of them.
Are you from this area?
I was born and raised in Portsmouth, just like my Uncle Bryce.
Gotcha.
And literally I did move. We went to I lived in Marion, Ohio, half of my formal childhood to 18. And I went to college at Shawnee State University.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay.
For 5 years. Studied to be a lawyer. And that's how I got into this, is my uncle made the wooden Indian on Dukes of Hazzard. And he was always coming back to see my dad. He was very close to my dad. So even in Marion, he was just my famous uncle to us kids. So when in 1986, 85, my Aunt Pansy died, and she was wealthy. She was a Mormon woman, and they had a little few motel, just one motel, but a trading post, and lived in the trading post they built brand new. So I made my first trip out there as a result of my uncle calling me.
Is it L.A.?
Pardon me?
Was it in L.A.? Is that what you said?
No, at Phoenix.
In Phoenix, okay. I
So,
love Phoenix. I love.
In 1986, my Aunt Pansy died. And my uncle had just been here, and he had a girl taking care of her, and he returned, and I was managing Heritage Square. I was the general manager, and it was a newly opened facility, and didn't like the job. It was terrible, just about numbers, but not people. So he called after he left, and we got pictures. My new book, the picture on the front cover is my uncle and I standing beside a wooden Indian. They made the Portsmouth Daily Times front page. It was cool. You know, we was all excited about it. And when he returned, Pansy died. And he called my dad and said, I need a lawyer. So my dad called me and said, Mike, Bryce wants you to call him. And I called him, and his estate was worth close to $2 million. And he said, Mike, if you can help me out, you know, I definitely going to throw you 50 grand, just leave your job. He said, don't worry about it, and we'll start the family business. So he got a bus back because the boys, his 3 stepsons locked up his bank account, $113,000. He had to get a bus back. So he started at that point to go through a terrible decline. But anyway, he came back. I drove straight out there with him and started writing the book the first night about my uncle 39 years ago.
Really? So you started that far?
I started it.
Really?
And I started it at a roadside rest. Never forget it. He was all brokenhearted about Pansy dying, and I gave him a poem I wrote called The Tear. I put it in the book, and just kind of, you know, expressing to him that you'll see her again, you know. I mean, don't worry, we all see each other again. I was very much into physics and logic and biology and chemistry at that point. And like him, I didn't like the magic god story, so I would never let Pansy die. So anyway, went on to Phoenix and let that book lay forever until just recently a man contacted me, said he's my biggest fan and wanted to buy a couple of my wooden Indians. And so this is kind of destiny, which is those books over there. So I saw it that way. More intelligent people would easily be able to manipulate people's lives to guide them together for a better purpose, for family. And so I went out there and wasn't successful with overturning his settlement agreement. His 3 stepsons got him drunk, and he signed a settlement agreement. So I left, and to make a long story short, quickly, I came back through Nashville. One of my buddies was there, and I started making art, these wooden Indians, and he loved them, and he said, man, you know, going home, and I was in a bad marriage, my part, and he called me maybe a week later and said, and it's really eerie, and this is how my book started. He called me at 5:30 in the morning, and my wife, she got so angry that, because she knew also maybe I would go to Nashville, she shook me real hard. And at the same time, I was having a nightmare that I'd gotten shot in the heart.
Okay.
And I was at a table. I was in New York City, and obviously I was a writer. And when I looked up at the marquee, because a man came running toward me, a preacher, and he had an older man, had a gun in his hands. He was going to kill me, you know, in the name of Jesus, God, whatever. And at the same time that she shoved on me, you know, I got shot, man, and 3 times. It just blew me right back off the chair, and the next thing I know, I'm up out of my body. And I'm looking at the Times Square monitor, and I see nuclear explosions. All of a sudden, breaking news, World War 3, Armageddon. So as they're pumping my heart, and trying to stop the bleeding, I go back into my body and I wake up and she's pushing on my chest, and I'm going, baby, God damn it, I just got shot in the heart, you know?
Yeah.
God damn, what's going on? Oh my God, and I'm it was real, and she was so angry, she just threw the phone down and said, you're not having a dream, it's a nightmare. I'm pissed off, I don't want your buddy ever calling me again at 5:30 in the morning. So I answer the phone and I tell my buddy in Nashville, I said, man, you ain't gonna believe this, God damn it. I just got shot in the heart at the same time, and my wife's pushing in my goddamn chest, laying in the bed, shaking me for you calling me. What's going on? He said he got a second record deal. And so he was a pretty successful artist, country music artist. So I said, well, man, let me get off here, get my wife out here, and I'll talk to you in a little bit. Man, as soon as she went to work, I called him back, and I packed my shit and left that day and never came back.
That's
man.
Awesome. That is wild.
It's wild.
That's wild.
I get emotional and chill bumps about it because I never thought about that dream.
The dream is what freaks me out the most out of anything.
Well, and then the idea that I was cognizant of at that moment to look down and see that I wrote my book, The Two Witnesses in the Religion Cover-Up, and my cover-up was about aliens being space people, and there is no instant magic. So my first book, I've got it. I'll show it to you here real quick. Oh, here it is. Now, this was the book that was laying on my table in the dream. And if you flip the back cover over, you'll see my question, your question, what happens after life? How can God create an atom? The atoms. So this gives you the nuts and bolts of my story that atoms and life always exist. So the question...
That's wild to think about.
Yeah. So the idea that people are still asking, what happens after life, it's as simple as knowing what happens to a dead atom.
Right.
When a dead atom's not getting oxygen and water and sustenance, it degrades, it entropies, and then it's going to decay, and then it's decaying by losing electrons and changing from, a carbon-based atom into a gas, okay? That's the reason you see animals, you keep going by them, pretty soon, things are eating them. But you could actually take a body and let it decompose in front of your very eyes on a camera, time elapsed, and prove to yourself, like magic, that everything around those bones will be gone.
Right.
Nothing ate them.
Yeah.
Okay.
It disappears.
The hair, it will stay too. It's the things that aren't solid.
Yeah.
So, and those liquids, just turn into gases. And I tell kids all the time, man, there's nothing more magical than the idea of air making water. So how does that happen? And then how does the water freeze? And you've got the 3 states of matter, like the Holy Trinity. And I tell people, the Trinity is just the 3 states of matter, and our bodies are it, and we don't get it.
Right.
And that it takes all 3 of them to stay together for it to be a functioning goddamn phone. That's the body. I can break the bastard and, replicate reincarnation, bring that working thing back to life, and it's not even, filled with blood.
Right.
So
that's such a crazy and wild thing to think about. That's
the
phone analogy freaks me out a lot too, because
we're there.
Sense.
Well, yes, it makes it relevant.
With that. Here, let me see this. Bring it to me.
Josh, you just hit on a key point there, is that it makes it relevant.
Makes it relevant, yeah.
Without the misunderstanding of the archaic primitive words like soul and spirit. If we replace them with memory, and the body, even in religion, the body is just simply what? The earth. It goes back to dust, ashes to ashes.
Right. Yeah.